I can't hear anything.
Yeah, we're just waiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jill, you will go second. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Dallas, then I'll talk and there'll be an introduction, then I'll talk for a few minutes, then I'll introduce Dallas, and then you, and then Ani, and then there'll be questions. Okay.
We are going to start this session.
1, 2, 3 minutes.
So very good evening to all. I am Dr. Rashmi Arora, economist at GJEPC. First of all, on the behalf of GJEPC, I would like to welcome our esteemed guest and all the participants at this market insight session. I am glad to share that this is our third session on discussing the present trends of gem and jewelry products across different markets. Today's session is very special as we have experts from the USA, which is India's topmost export partner for gem and jewelry products. So welcome. We really welcome you all, our esteemed guests from USA, Dr. Mia, Miss Annie, Miss Jill, and Miss Dennis. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time and coming at this session to share your valuable insights. So we are really eager to hear you out, and I'm very sure like the session is going to be very interesting and insightful. So my question and my point is here, because USA is India's very well established and the very important partner. It's a long-rooted, deep-rooted, and the long-standing partnership is there between India and USA. Then why it is important to have this session with a USA guest? So the answer is like, because these days in the present time there are so many changes are happening in different markets in terms of their preferences, changes in their likings towards the different products, and emergence of the new products like the lab-grown diamonds or LGD studded jewelry and so on. So just to understand all kind of shift in USA market, which is really very important for our Indian exporter to know and to understand, to refresh their thoughts and the perspective about the USA market, to start thinking about redesigning the products according to your perspectives that you are going to share. It will really be very helpful for our participants who have joined during this session. So this is just our expectation to share the present dynamics about the USA market, what kind of the trends which are being like in the USA market right now in terms of the designs, color, weight, etc. So thank you so much once again. And going forward, I would like to take an opportunity to introduce our first guest, Dr. Mia Cartin. And Dr. Mia Cartin is an award-winning designer and industry authority for over 2 decades. She is an editor and columnist for leading US magazines and frequent invited speaker at top national conferences. Her connections with leading designers, retailers, editors, and influencers are deep and wide, opening channels for clients to her making marketing agency, The Jewelers Marketer. So, Dr. Mia, it would be great if you can introduce your colleagues with us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rashmi. So I will give a brief overview first of some of the trends in the US market, and then I will be introducing one by one 3 of our colleagues from the US, and they will be giving more details from their perspective as well. So first of all, it's wonderful to speak with all of you. We're very excited for this opportunity, and we're very much also looking forward to coming back to India at the end of September, to Mumbai and Jaipur, and to meet with some of you as exhibitors there, and go to the factories in Jaipur as well. And we hope to see you there as well. So let me talk a bit about some of the trends in the US market. First of all, the US has $69 billion annually in jewelry sales, which is 1/5 of the whole world's market, and is a leading market for Indian jewelry exports, including fine gold and platinum diamond jewelry, mid-range jewelry, and what's called bridge or fashion jewelry. And diamond jewelry accounts for half of the US jewelry sales. There's also a strong demand for colored gemstone and diamond jewelry in the US. And there are over 20,000 US retail jewelry stores, including majors such as Signet, which has a major with $7 billion in sales and 2,400 retail stores. There are also mid-market chains, independent retailers, online retailers, and such as Blue Nile and TV shopping networks, which Dallas Prince, whom I'm going to be introducing next, is very active in that and a leading participant in TV shopping networks, actually internationally. The US-India jewelry trade is a win-win, what we call a win-win situation. It's very good for both sides. India, as I'm sure many of you know, produces 90% of the world's cut and polished diamonds. And so they're wonderful from the supply side, as well as, of course, diamond jewelry and all kind of colored gemstones and colored gemstone jewelry. And the US buyers really desire to buy their diamonds, their colored gems, their finished jewelry direct from the source, rather than go through middlemen in the US. So the US manufacturers, designers, and retailers also seek, and this is very important, skilled manufacturers for their finished jewelry and their own product collections as well. So many of the people that are coming to the shows in India now and want to meet with the vendors there are seeking not just products, but your highly skilled manufacturers to manufacture their own jewelry lines as well as your own finished jewelry products. Here are some of the trends that are going on now in the US. Lab-grown diamonds and jewelry. Although the prices of lab-grown diamonds have been in decline, there is currently a very high demand in the US for lab-grown diamond jewelry, including bridal engagement rings, especially among the younger buyers such as millennials and Gen Z, okay, the people that are around 20 years old or in their early 20s. Large profits are currently being made in the US retail selling lab-grown diamond jewelry now. So that's a very important trend. There is also a growing trend amongst US consumers for sourcing their jewelry through responsible and ethical sources verified by agencies such as the Responsible Jewelry Council. And this is also especially amongst some of the younger clients and customers. Now, we've had a snowballing, a greatly accelerating demand for US buyers coming to attend the GJEP shows in India to meet with exhibitors, vendors, and visit factories. This is to go back a little bit to give you some history. Immediately after travel opened up after the pandemic in 2022, there were 5 US buyers attending the first Jaipur show. And by contrast, this past April, a few months ago, we had close to 50 US buyers attending the Jaipur, Mumbai, and Surat shows, including multiple majors and marquee buyers. US buyers very much want to establish ongoing relationships with you, with their vendors. They're coming not just to look and, buy some things, but they're looking for, good, consistent suppliers to supply their needs and to manufacture their goods. Currently, we have 20 to 30 buyers ready to attend the Mumbai buyer-seller meet and the Jaipur factory visits in next month at the end of September and the beginning of October. And some of the people that are coming are the people that are on this call that you're going to meet. And the first is Dallas Prince, whom I've just mentioned, is a major for QVC, one of the top, if not the top, television jewelry channel, and a marquee designer. She's an international online TV personality. She also sells internationally on TV networks in Germany and Australia. And she's a presenter and an award-winning designer. She has won many Spectrum Awards, which is the top award for colored gemstone jewelry in the US. Another company coming that will be coming next month is Turquoise Mountain, a marquee company. And the person coming is Nada Aladdin. She is the deputy director for Saudi Arabia, and their patron is the HRH Prince's Trust. That's King Charles of Britain. And she has top international clients, including the well-known British designer Pippa Small, who was recently hosted by JCK's magazine's editor-in-chief, Victoria Gomelski, and she's at the hub of the Saudi Arabian's jewelry network. Another company coming next month is Rock House. Tony Goldsberry is a marquee agent with many clients. He is on the board of the US Couture Show annually in Las Vegas. It's the top echelon of all the shows in Las Vegas, and he's on the board of that show and exhibits there with some of his top clients. Another person coming next month is Peter Storm. He is a high-end luxury wholesaler and designer. He exhibits regularly at the JCK luxury show in Las Vegas. He's well known. He sells many top stores in the US. He just exhibited in Las Vegas in June. And finally, we have a group of 10 coming through a new program that we've established called our VIP, our Very Important Person program. Olga Gonzalez from Pietra Communications. She is coming and bringing with her a group of 10 manufacturers, retailers, designers, wholesalers with her. So we have a great group of people coming. So now I would like to introduce to you Dallas Prince, and she will be coming next month. She's come to a few shows, and she's a wonderful advocate for the shows. As I mentioned, she is a top international TV personality and host and award-winning designer. So Dallas, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Mia. I am more excited about this show than I've ever been. Each and every time that I've been there, and I've only been there twice, it's been not just exciting, but you learn so much from the vendors at these shows that you can't wait to get back and explore more of India through them. I will tell you a little bit about myself first, and I'm going to start a timer for myself because I talk for a living and I'll probably go over time.
Can I jump in for 1 minute? Are you
Yes.
are you all posting the pictures of Dallas's jewelry while she's talking? And anyway, okay, I throw that out there. I want them to post that if they can, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
It is an honor to be with you all today, and certainly with my colleagues who I've met on a recent trip. Everything that I have done in my career started without my knowing I was going to enter the jewelry industry. I was a news anchor and sports commentator, and I ended up in the jewelry industry, and I found my home. It has been good to me for over 25 years now. And all of that 25 years has been in television. Television is its own city in the jewelry industry. And I say that because we reach more people in an hour of programming than most people can see in a year in brick and mortar stores. I love television because it gives me data along the way that I can utilize to get to know my customers. As I learned about my customers, I realized early on I needed to be solely and completely working overseas. I did have a beautiful start to this industry by getting to know many different manufacturers through the television networks themselves. But I realized then that I needed to meet everyone. I have produced in 6 different countries for my shows on television. I am currently with 3 networks and air in 5 different countries with those networks. That said, my business early on grew very quickly, and I had to make serious decisions about who was going to produce my jewelry. Early on, I was producing a new line every 45 days for television. The timelines are tight, and everyone had to know what they were producing, how fast they could produce it, the pricing, the stones. Many people had to touch that piece of jewelry before it landed on television and in my customers' hands. That became something that, as I learned who could produce what type of jewelry, I found my colleagues, my friends, the people that I've watched their children grow up who have been in this business longer than I have to produce my jewelry. And India was one of those countries. The difference was I was producing in India for years without actually going there. And thanks to this fabulous program and GJEPC, I was able not only to visit, but to get to know manufacturers there personally and speak with them. And it has changed everything for me. I do have some photos that I sent before this show to let everyone know that recently I produced a show for QVC. I appeared in that show with all my own designs that were produced in India. And they're magnificent. It was amazing. And everything was absolutely stunning. So I have to tell you now that what I would like to see in my own brand and going forward is the magic of India, the gemstones, the absolutely fabulous manufacturing, and see how far I can move this business into a better place in television. That means for me that I'm going to design more than I probably ever have. I'm doing a new diamond line. That is in India. Yes, it is lab-grown diamonds. I have always used natural diamonds until a recent trip to Surat, and that changed that for me. I am known in the industry as vintage with an edge, but that all involves fabulous colored gemstones. For me, I have to have good pricing for television. I can't change the pricing. It is established long before the show. The pricing is set by the networks. So I have to come in with my absolute best price for my customers and for the networks to be profitable. I found that through India. I would have to say, honestly, that the first show I went to, I saw more colored gemstones at the best prices I'd ever seen that gave me an opportunity to design even a few of my one-of-a-kind pieces, which are in retail stores here in the US. Suffice it to say that I have found a different home in India that was surprising to me because I hadn't been there. It is different when you get to meet people in person. It is different from your heart to get to know them and know what they can do for you. So now I'm trying to set trends. I can't always follow them because television is very seasonal, but I can set a trend. I can set a new style. And I'll tell you, for me, that also means trying to find those things that are not out in the marketplace every single day. That's hard to do. I think my colleagues would agree that we all try and set a precedent for ourselves, our brands, and we do that through the relationships that we make with our vendors, our manufacturers, our stone vendors, our craftsmen, and all of you. I hope that anyone that's thinking about coming to see any of the wonder in India, that you will do it through GJEPC. If you attend any of these shows, it can change how you do business very quickly. You will walk away from a trip like I have been able to, and have the confidence and the knowledge of knowing that whatever you do and however you decide to do it in India, it will be one of the best decisions that you make because of the vendor advantages through GJEPC. I hope you will consider it, and I look forward to meeting you if you do. Thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you very much, Dallas. That was very inspiring. And now I would like to introduce Jill Borgerding, who is the founder of Jillian Samuels Jewelry. She is a graduate gemologist, and she has a very inspiring story. She's been to a number of Indian shows and shows in India through GJEPC, and it has really transformed her whole business and trajectory in the jewelry world.
Thank you, Mia. Hello, everybody. And I am very excited to be here with you guys on this call. And I am also very excited to be returning to India this fall. As Mia said, my very first trip to India was last fall, where I visited Mumbai and Surat. And it completely changed the trajectory of my career in the jewelry business. I was a year ago with a small e-commerce company based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And upon returning home and the connections that I made in India, both friends and manufacturers, I ended up leaving that company and striking out on my own for the first time. I have been in the jewelry industry for over 20 years. I've been a graduate gemologist for over 14, going on 15 years now. And it has always been my dream to go out on my own, produce my own designs, and move forward, working for myself and creating a name for myself. And that is slowly coming to fruition. all because of the trips that I have had to India. I have been very, very blessed by the manufacturers that I have found in India who have been very willing to help me put things together for my e-commerce website. And I did share a few photos also with Mia of a few current designs that are being produced currently in India. Now, I'm not at the scale that a lot of others are, but it's very up and coming, I believe. I have stores that are interested in carrying my designs, and I'm working with a marketing team right now as far as getting on some local networks, some broadcasts. And there is a couple of programs here just within the Midwest, in the North Dakota area specifically, that I'm looking at having a segment once a month with, as far as being able to talk about the jewelry industry and show a few of my designs. And that is very exciting for me. So I'm a little more smaller scale than my colleagues that are on this call. But I do believe that with the 20 years of experience that I have and the connections that I've made through the manufacturers in India, that it's only going to go up from here. And in the last 6 months, I've produced my designs and received them. And I love every single aspect of them. The work that I have done, the craftsmanship, the manufacturing from the manufacturers in India, it has been absolutely fantastic. I spent 20 years working retail, and we've always used the quote unquote middlemen. And when it came to starting my own business, I wanted to eliminate that so that I could offer my clients better prices and more control over my merchandise and my designs. And being a part of this organization and these trips that I have made to India has allowed me to do that. And I look forward to this trip because there are always new manufacturers that I'm looking for. My design brain is always moving forward. And I have a few specific things that I'm looking for when I come to Mumbai this fall. And that also includes both natural diamonds, lab diamonds, and gemstones. And I do have some one-of-a-kind pieces that I am working on that I look forward to speaking with some manufacturers about as well. So this opportunity for me has been completely life-altering. And I'm now in a place that I never thought that I would be, owning my own business and designing my own jewelry and finding that people are loving my designs. And I am absolutely moving forward, and I cannot wait to meet new manufacturers and reconnect with some of my other manufacturers who I have been working with when I'm in India. And I think that probably gives me my 5 minutes. So I will turn it back over to Mia. And I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you all. For me, it's this morning, but I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jill. That was very, very inspiring, I'm sure, to everyone. And lastly, I would like to introduce Ani Kachian, who is joining us. And Ani has been a great proponent. She has been to India. She was just there in April with us, and she is in the New York City area. And she is well connected with a couple large groups of jewelers in a capacity of being on the executive board and also a board member. And she is so enthusiastic about her experience coming to India and the possibilities it opens up for communication and trade between India and the US. So she is promoting groups of jewelers to come from the US to the shows in India. And she's already recruited one person that will be coming next month as well. So Ani, and she, of course, herself is also a very established multi-generational jewelry designer, and is, very, very well established in the US jewelry industry. So Ani, let me turn over the call to you now.
Well, thank you very much, Mia, and thank you everybody to the Gem and Jewelry Export Promotion Council and to my contemporaries, Jill and Dallas. I'll give you quickly a little bit of background about myself. I'm Ani Kachin. I'm the founder of Ani Fine Jewelry, and I have extensive corporate experience when I was working on Park Avenue, which is 2 avenues away from the jewelry district, actually on 47th Street, a chemical bank. I worked for the director of mergers and acquisitions there. And I'll get back to that later. But I have active involvement in different jewelry organizations. Specifically, I'm secretary of the Armenian Jewelers Association on the East Coast in the USA in New York. And I'm also on the board of the Jewelry Design Professional Network. And I leverage currently my skills in computer-aided design and my background in the GIA Diamonds and Pearls certification. I do that to create distinctive pieces, and I contribute to the jewelry community at large as I like to connect people. And thank you, Mia, for letting us know that last fall there were 50 people that attended, and I would hopefully be able to increase that number going forward with the connections that I have in the jewelry industry. I'm very excited about my upcoming trip to India, or my past trip in April. That was my first trip ever to India, and it was very insightful. And I love the connections that I made. I've continued to nurture those relationships with the representatives that come to New York. So I've made efforts to meet with them, and I've also attended the India Diamond Week at the Diamond Dealers Club in New York.
Yes, just
And
happened. Yeah.
that just happened. Thank you, Mia.
Yes.
Yes. And I've already shared all of my positive developments with the Armenian Jewelers Association on East Coast. And I'm pleased to let you know that through the dissemination of the information, Edward Ezigoglu, who I don't know very, very well, he is part of Euphoria Fine Jewelry. He'll be attending the event in October. And our plan includes disseminating the valuable information we gain from this trip and organizing an introductory event in New York City. This event will be an excellent opportunity for the members of the Gem and Jewelry Export Promotion Council who visit New York City to meet with our AJA East Coast members and further strengthen the collaboration and boost participation for the April 2025 show. And in addition to discussing the current trends and dynamics of the US market, I'm keen to explore why the sources of manufacturing in India represent a great opportunity for US jewelers. And personally, I'm drawn to India for its potential to enhance my business by building relationships that can help shorten my design and CAD production cycle while maintaining high quality control to deliver value to my customers. So I'd also like to give you some quick background on how I got into the jewelry industry. My father was a master jeweler in Los Angeles, specifically in Palm Springs, California. His store still operates. It's been operating for close to 60 years. My stepmother and half-sister run that. My parents were married but divorced, and my mother brought me to the East Coast. And my mother had strong inclinations to have me be educated the way that she was educated on the East Coast. Having said that, they nurtured a love for mathematics, and I graduated Manhattanville College, which has now turned into Manhattanville University as of April 4th, 2024. And I honed my skills in management and mathematics, which landed me work in corporate environments, working for the director of mergers and acquisitions on Park Avenue, New York City. So I'm pretty well versed in numbers. But when I was working in those industries, I got married and had children. After I ended up having children, after I had my third, up until I had my second son, I worked then for a high-profile individual in the Connecticut area for 7 years, doing some bookkeeping and finances with him. And when my job was eliminated over 20 years ago, I had just had my third son, I conceived of doing jewelry as more of a recreation. for joy. And I didn't know how to go about creating jewelry until a colleague of my mother-in-law, who's a fine jewelry artist, mentioned that they had courses. And I enrolled in jewelry courses locally here and started crafting at the bench. So doing handmade benchwork jewelry. Interestingly enough, I was able to take that course because my neighbor happens to be Indian. And the course that I wanted to take was filled, and the course that was available encroached on when our children came back from school. And she very lovingly offered to watch our children so that I could take the course. So that experience is very important to me because it's not something that you can calculate, but it is done out of goodwill. And I exhausted all the courses locally doing bench work, but I learned how about precision and quality. And I was going to the jewelry shows. My father had taken me to the jewelry shows years back, and that's when I just started to discover computer-aided design. And I bought a copy of CAD software, and then I called the software company up and asked them, how do I learn this? And they told me that a professor at FIT could help me, and that was Dana Buscaglia. And I enrolled in her class through distance learning, and that was new at the time while I was raising my 3 children. And I embarked on teaching myself computer-aided design to refine my concepts. Hence, fast forward, I was asked to be on the Jewelry Design Professional Network board. So having said that, I've gotten to know a lot of people in the jewelry industry very organically here on the East Coast of the United States. And I realized that while I connect with my customers here, it's also very important to connect with people outside of our immediate area. And I was really quite touched when Mia and Nancy approached me to go to India. And I was reluctant at the first time out of fear. But then I got over that fear and I actually went to India, and it was a wonderful experience. And I'm so grateful for that experience because now I'm making connections to refine my jewelry. Now, I'd like to just quickly address some of the questions that you had. You were asking about gold and jewelry products preferred in the United States as far as carat and color, and lab diamonds and e-commerce scenarios. I will tell you that I have seen a personal growth on my smaller scaled area for laboratory diamonds. And my customer has come to me and they realize that they can acquire a laboratory diamond item that is a fraction of what it would cost in natural. And so they're able to write the check and make that purchase because it's not going to break the bank. And so that's very exciting as a jewelry designer. Another aspect that's very exciting about jewelry design that I got out of my trip to Surat was to see the colored diamonds, because now as a designer, I can see combinations being put together that wouldn't necessarily have been done in the past, but now can be conceived of because of the affordability of colored lab diamonds. And here in the United States, 14 karat gold is highly regarded, although 18 karat gold would be, I guess, the luxury standard here. And that I see that in engagement and wedding bands. And I can spare you all of the details of the data because Mia has done an excellent job of providing that for you. But as far as a designer and jewelry trends go, I would say that the Americans would like to see cultural attributes imbued into the jewelry that they wear. They're very intrigued about that and what India produces. And that's an area that I think I would personally focus on. And I would like to continue to increase my relationships with the Gem and Jewelry Export Promotion Council. And I'm looking forward to attending another event in India to grow my business. So thank you again very much. And we appreciate the rich culture and heritage that we experience and looked forward to growing that here in America and the United States. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Annie. That was very, very wonderful to hear all your personal details and your backstory, your personal story. So, Dr. Rashmi, should we open the floor to questions now?
Yeah, before we open up the floor for the questions, I think I'd request Rashmi to take you through to the statistics, exports to US, and then we can also share the designs that you all have shared to a little bit talk about what's moving in the US markets, and then take the questions which is posted in the chat box. In that order.
Okay. Yes, are you able to show the designs that we sent to you? Because if you post some of those, we could have like Dallas or different people talk about some of the designs and bring out the details.
Yes, we are doing it. We are doing it.
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want us to talk a little bit more about, design details and things like that, current trends and styles?
Yes, that we can do. Just give me a couple of minutes, and after that we can take the query answer session as well as the more information about the trends in the USA market. So
Okay. Do you have the pictures of Dallas's jewelry? Because
yes.
she's producing a lots of those for jewelry television.
So
I don't know if you have that slide. I can't quite see it.
I'm just going to share it after this presentation also.
Oh, okay.
So this is just to share the quick snapshot of India and USA bilateral trade and how we are moving in terms of the gem and jewelry trade as well as the export potential. Next. Next. So we just start. This is for these are just the sharp numbers. Like right now, we have our exports at $33 billion, and India with $33 billion stands at 4% share in the global market. So this is what about our stand or the position of India in global gem and jewelry market. Next slide. So, if we can see like in $72 billion, so our total export potential of India is $72 billion. But as far as our current untapped export potential is $35 billion, it means India has capacity to produce gem and jewelry products amounting to $35 billion and can export to the world market. So this is what about the potential. And coming to this product-wise export potential, if you can see gold jewelry. So in case of gold jewelry, India still have $15 billion of export potential in this commodity. And in cut and polished diamond, there is an export potential of around $18 billion. So we still have huge potential in all different kinds of gem and jewelry products. Next. So I'm just focusing upon the first market, only the one market, that is the USA market. So for India, there is a total potential of $21 billion. And right now, India is having exports of around $9 billion to USA. So still we have a huge untapped export potential in USA market that we can realize in the coming times. Next. So now why? So India and USA, as we all know that these are the strong partners for gem and jewelry trade. So if we see this left-hand side figures, so in this case, India is having 30% share in USA market. Like 30% of India's gem and jewelry products goes to USA only. That is the 1/3 of the total gem and jewelry exports. So now it is just simply reflecting why and how much USA market is important for us. This is the topmost export destination for Indian gem and jewelry exporters. Now on the second hand side, the right hand side, if we can see the situation of India in the USA market. So similarly in USA market also, India is having 15% share. So for as Dr. Mia, you have said, like India and USA, this is a win-win situation for India and USA.
Yes.
So so our standing in with each other for gem and jewelry trade is very high. It is around 15% as well as the 30%. Next. But right now, if we can see, like in 23-24, the last column, if we can see right now, our exports and imports are around $15 billion. That is the total trade. We are not talking about the exports. We are talking about the $15 billion. That is the total trade with USA. Now the point is that is for the participants also. Now if we can see, like our exports and imports, the total trade with USA was around $21 billion in 21-22, or $18 billion in even during the pre-COVID times. So now right now we are at $15 billion. So more or less the bottom line is our total trade is like bit declining in the USA market. So that we need to see, and that's why the purpose of this session is like this is a kind of refreshing kind of perspectives that we are seeking from your side during this question and answers session, like what kind of trends are there in the USA market, so that we can again revive our trade with the USA market. Next. Now, quickly, if you can see, there is a very beautiful complementarity that exists between the two markets, because India is exporting all finished products like the cut and polished diamond, polished LGD, gold jewelry, silver jewelry, as well as the polished colored gemstones. And but we are importing majorly the rough commodities, that like the rough diamonds or the rough LGDs and the gold bars and the silver bars. So we are importing, we are having again we are having the complementarity between the two countries. We are taking rough material as an intermediate goods from USA, and we are supplying the finished products to the USA market. So we are having a very strong partnership and the relationship with regard to our gem and jewelry sector. Next. So now why we are talking about USA, as everybody knows, like it is a very important partner. But right now, because our share should be sustained, so we are focusing more on increasing our presence in the USA market, either for the gold jewelry or the colored gemstone or the silver jewelry products. So that is what it is for the participants. Like our focus is to increase or sustain percentage share in the existing market, and USA is the major market which we should focus upon in the coming times also. Next. So at the backdrop of our long-standing partners for gem and jewelry trade and existing complementarity between India and USA, untapped export potential in USA market, and bit of declined gem and jewelry bilateral trade that we have noticed in the last year, and changing market dynamics or the emergence of new products in USA market. So we are again seeking more inputs during this question and answer session. And thank you so much. And followed by this presentation, we are going to present the designs which are shared by our esteemed guest, Ms. Dellis. So Vijay, can you please present the next slides? Next slide, fourth. Next slide. Next. So over
Yes.
to Ms. Dellis.
Yes. Dallas, would you like to talk a little bit about the designs and in terms of like being part of jewelry television? You know very much what are the current trends, and would you talk a little bit? I see you have different colors of gold and things like that. Would you like to talk a little bit about your designs? Okay.
There are several things that I try to accomplish on television in the home shopping industry, which is I have to know my customer. And I've learned over the years that my customer is actually me. I am the quintessential perfect home shopping television customer. So I designed toward what you're looking at now as a signature collection. This is everyday, day to night jewelry. It is your signature. It is your classic, timeless, ageless jewelry. And I do it a little bit different. It's a little bit edgier than some of the other pieces that are streamlined to be in this category. But this is probably my most successful vignette on television, to have just all three colors of the metal and to have a beautiful, stunning white stone in there that looks like diamonds, but it's actually white zircon. That gives us a price that we can serve the customer very well. Do you have another slide?
That style of like a line bracelet, I think, is very popular, isn't it, Dallas?
Oh, it is.
Yes.
It always will be. I think
Yeah.
that many of us also dress that well.
Yeah.
That you also put a tennis bracelet, if you will,
Yeah.
next to your watch, or you do stackables like that.
Yeah.
But smaller collections in a vignette, and that's what I call them, vignettes, of having the earring, the ring, and the pendant, or the ring, the earring, and a bracelet. If you can create those smaller vignettes, that allows the customer to build outward with their jewelry wardrobe and do something that they wouldn't normally do. If they just buy one piece, they'll be able to find it within the three in this collection. The best part about this, though, was finding the Malawi pink rhodolite garnet. It was a stunning find, and everything that you're seeing, again, I will let you know, was produced in India. So I'm very proud to say that. Etruscan designs for me are classic in my brand, and I think that they will always be that. You're getting a little bit of the masculine and feminine looks there, and it just works. It works for my customers.
Can I jump in here for 1 minute to just talk a little bit more about that line, those line bracelets, or what are sometimes called tennis bracelets. I'm noticing that they are trending, very, very popular in the US now, both in natural diamonds and in lab-grown diamonds, actually both for men and for women, right? The necklaces. Yeah, so that's a current trend that's very, very popular in both lab grown and in natural diamonds. Okay.
Well, I think you'll find too that the layering concept of jewelry now has gravitated over to gentlemen's jewelry also. And that's exciting, because I like to see that when gentlemen also decide to utilize their own personality and do something that is out of the normal.
Yes. And of course, the layering trend is very popular in the US to have not so much like one very ornate piece, but like several different necklaces or several different earrings together, or several different rings, or stacking multiple bracelets. Don't you notice that, Dallas, that's like a really popular trend in the US? To do that. It's very
well. I
very
know that I've seen some of the new pieces that Jill is doing, and I know what Ani does, and I think we could all agree on that very much, that layering is our own personality trait with jewelry. Accessorizing the same way, we are, all three of us are also your customers. So if we have anything to say about it, we'll continue that trend.
And it allows people, as you say, to personalize jewelry, and that's very important in the US. People want to make jewelry personal in some way. I think that's behind the trend of layering jewelry, because then they can make it's not just like something they get out of a box and that's it. they personalize it by combining several different necklaces together or several different bracelets together. So that's a very strong trend in the US market now.
Yes.
Okay. And
now this is a bit different. Many of you may not have crosses in your collections. But for me, I grew up with my grandmother wearing crosses, my mother wore crosses, and they're an important element to me. So my iconic cross collection is probably the most successful of everything that I do. I'm known for designing them. I have collectors of my crosses, and I happen to be, I'm talking right now, touching the crosses that are on me because I've layered crosses today. Again, I start with one piece and build it outward. The first piece will be gold and diamonds. The next pieces for television will be silver, white sapphire, and white zircon, so that I can have price points across the board that are good for customers. But this is probably one of the bigger trends coming back, is actually crosses.
okay, great. Oh, yes, talk about this one.
This was something that we get into our own ideas about stones and putting them together. And you've just seen examples of what I do with diamonds or white zircon and white sapphire. But I think color for all of us is something we're drawn to. And I like mixing faceted stones with opaques. That is a good trend. And that leads us right into the wonderful holiday season for having something a little bit different. Larimar is one of those stones. It's highly sought after on television, which is amazing. You never know what the stone of the month is going to be on television. But as soon as we know it, we go straight for that so that we have that for our customers.
Turquoise is also very popular, isn't it? I know that you use turquoise a lot in your collections as well. Yeah,
I do, but I use Sleeping Beauty turquoise, and it's very, very difficult to get the stones now in any quantity. But you have the collectors out there for that, and it's still as stunning of a color as it ever was. Highly sought after.
And what are some of the other colored gems that you're finding are very popular amongst your customers now?
I think that anyone out there can say at the very top of any list, whether it's television, brick and mortar, online, social, whatever it is, they're going to be drawn to blues. All blue stones, kyanite, sapphire, turquoise, all the blue stones are really still the most sought after and the highest performers dollar-wise in our industry. So, but that brings into play something else with the blue stones, that in-between stone, tanzanite. I can't believe it is still one of the most popular stones in my business, large and small.
Yes, I think it's well known in the jewelry industry in the US that the blue stones are the most popular of color stones, with sapphire at the top, but tanzanite very popular too. Okay, thank you very much. So should we open up to questions? Any questions from the audience? Just wait.
Yes, Dr. Mia, there is a long list of questions, and
good.
We should comprehend all these questions, like consolidate it, so that there should not be repetition. So,
yes.
How we should go about it? Like, are you going to refer the chat box?
Yeah, just maybe read a question, and then we'll see who it fits best to answer it, what area it's about. Do you want to just pick some of the most popular questions, that like a lot of people are asking certain things, and ask the question, and then we'll refer it to one of our three speakers to answer, or more than one? So maybe just pick out some questions that a lot of people have and say it out loud. Can you do that?
Okay,
Open the question.
open the question.
We'll go from the beginning.
Sridhar, आपको जाना रहेगा.
Filter नहीं होएगा मेरे को. That's why I wanted closer.
यहाँ
It's very
पे
difficult
मेरा है.
to.
Only we recollect
So-
same question we are
Why don't
skip.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Say a question.
So someone is asking that if you are not a manufacturer, just a merchant exporter of silver jewelry, so how do you start, to enter into the US market?
Yes, well, I can say something and then anybody else can jump in as well. There is a high demand in the US right now for silver jewelry, okay, especially because the price of gold has gone up very much, $2,500 an ounce now. So silver jewelry is very popular, and also vermeil jewelry, gold layered over silver, that's very popular. So if you want to, I don't know if you're still there. I don't know if people are still there. But if you want to enter into the US market, please come and join us at a show in Mumbai or Jaipur. We're having all the retailers and people coming from the US, and we'll meet you there and look at your collections and get them for the market in the US. I don't know if we're still connected.
Yeah, we're connected. In
Oh,
fact,
yeah.
more than 100 people are already putting their questions in the chat box. So someone's, this Gaurav Chokshi is writing, what do you think about the lab-grown diamond market in the coming 3 years down the line?
Yes, lab-grown diamonds, very, very hot in the US now. Everybody is asking for lab-grown diamonds, especially the younger people, the people in their early 20s that are getting engagement rings and all that. There are many, I've talked to people at retail stores and they say the people in their early 20s, they're only buying lab-grown diamonds for engagement rings now. And so it's very, a lot of, although the prices for lab-grown diamonds have dropped, there are large profit margins to be made, so it's very, 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 very strong in the US now. And I don't know if other people would like to jump in, or if you have some more, maybe just a few quick questions that a lot of people have. So that we can answer it. But yeah, we really encourage, if you want to get into the US market, come to one of the shows, the GJEP shows as an exhibitor. And I know we're also going to factories in Jaipur. We can meet you there. We're bringing delegations of, marquee and majors, and also mid-range manufacturers and wholesalers, and we can meet you there, see your designs, and have you. There's a very strong desire from people in the US to have people in India manufacture their own designs, so they're looking for manufacturers. So come to the shows, meet us there. We'll get you into the US market. And any other question? Maybe you could do a series of quick questions.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm reading out. So that answers, the part that Mr. Abhishek Bardia has written about small designers and manufacturers who can produce unique design, but are unable to reach the right buyers in the US. So I think what you answered just now, I think that gives a perspective.
Yeah, yes. So I think it's really, I see it from both sides, having been to India many times and then being thoroughly steeped in the US market. It's like a perfect fit. There are 20,000 US retailers, and they want to they're buying all their diamonds through middlemen in the US. They want to buy them direct from India. India is producing 90% of the world's cut and polished diamonds. So they want to come to India and get their diamonds and get their goods manufactured directly from you. So it's totally a win-win situation. So we would just encourage everyone to come to the shows and meet with these teams. In April, we brought 40 to 50 buyers from the US. And they went to Jaipur and Surat and Mumbai. They're wanting to meet with you and get your goods and manufacturing capabilities into the US market. It's a huge market and they're ready to go. So just come meet us there and we'll get it. We'll get everything going. And the people that are coming from the US really want to get they're not just coming to buy some goods. They want established relationships working with you in a continuing basis. They're trying to find regular suppliers for their goods, especially the retailers. They're looking for goods for their stores and they want to get them direct from the source in India, rather than through US middlemen.
Okay, there are two separate questions now. One for the potential of color stones in the US market, and the other one which goes like which part of the USA is more inclined towards lab-grown diamond jewelry. So,
lab-grown is universal all throughout the US. We're hearing that very, very strongly. We see people in there's forums in the US. There is a Facebook group called Jewelers Helping Jewelers that has 31,000 jewelry professionals on it, and it's a network. And they're saying, where can we get lab-grown diamonds? Does anybody have a good source for lab-grown diamonds? It's taken a while for the trend to get to the US, but it's very strong now. So it's all throughout the US. People want the lab-grown diamonds. They still want natural diamonds as well, too. But they want lab-grown diamonds and colored gemstones. Yes. What was your question about the colored gemstones? Say it again. I forget what you asked. Shudhar.
What the potential of color stones and the markets in the
yes, there's a strong market, as Dallas just showed you all her pictures that she's selling on various jewelry television channels full of colored gemstones, and there's certain ones that are very popular, as we just said. The big three, sapphires, emeralds, and rubies, especially sapphires. Sapphires are the most popular among precious gemstones, but all kind of colored gemstones. What's one thing trending now are some of these unique garnets, of different colors, not just the regular, red garnet, but of different colors and everything, unusual garnets. Those are trending. Turquoise, which doesn't so much come from India, but that's another blue stone. Emeralds, I know you have a lot of beautiful Zambian emeralds that are available coming from India. All those are very popular. So 50% of jewelry sold in the US is diamond jewelry, but the other 50% is colored gemstone and diamond jewelry. So it's very, very popular. Lots of demand for it in the US, and India is, the place to get the colored gems. When we have these shows, we just had a show at the Diamond Dealers Club in New York, and we would like to also invite you as exhibitors to come and exhibit at that show. We just had one last week, but usually you send from India one colored gemstone person, and everybody gets very, very excited and goes and spends hours with the colored gemstone person because it's, very unusual. So it's like a very, very high demand for it. It's very, very unusual. In a lot of stores in the US, they'll have maybe amethyst or this or that, but India has such a variety, and you can do all kind of, your lapidary skills are just incredible. It's not available in the US. If you want to have a gemstone custom cut, it's almost impossible and very, very expensive to have that done. And you can do that. You're such masters of that in India. And you're so highly skilled at that. You even carve gemstones and can custom facet them and all that. So that's a very, very high demand for that in the US in terms of manufacturing and finished jewelry.
Okay, so someone wants to know if there is any difference in the buying trends in the US East Coast vis-a-vis the West Coast. Is there any trends or design, differences or sourcing needs between these?
Let me ask Dallas, because Dallas is speaking from the West Coast, from Los Angeles, and we have Ani is on the East Coast in the New York City area, and Jill is in the Midwest. Okay,
Covered everything, Mia.
range of the whole country here. Let me ask Dallas about the West Coast, okay? Because she lives in Los Angeles.
West Coast trends are, I hate to say it, but I have to go back to the blue stones. But West Coast trends are more charm related right now. They are collecting charms, and they're doing it to layer the necklaces just like everyone else, but they're doing it in a more petite way. And I think I kind of like it. I like watching it. I like seeing that evolve. And charms have always been a part of what I love to do. And that was one of my first collections ever because of my last name. It was called Charmingly Prince. So I love charms. And I think so, but I'm going to actually direct this over to Ani and Jill, because I think that a lot of times the trends, especially with the events and everything, a lot of the events happen on the East Coast for the jewelry industry, and especially the Diamond Dealers Club event. But I know that a lot of the trends right now from the East Coast are what we are watching from the West Coast.
Let's ask Ani to represent the East Coast and the New York City area. Do you think there's a difference between the New York and the rest of the country?
Okay, well, I can't speak for the Midwest and I can't speak for the West Coast, but I'm a very tactical person. So I work between Connecticut and New York City. I'm in New York City all the time doing work, assemblage and whatnot. So I look to the people around me to see what they're wearing, and I attend venues here, and I'm constantly taking photographs of what people are wearing, men and women. And I will say that I have noticed that their gold is still very popular, but the real gold jewelry, because of the economics of what's going on, is being scaled much smaller. And you are seeing a lot of layering going on. They are wearing larger gold pieces, right? Again, or they're wearing gold pieces. Again, if they're real gold, they're multiple and layered. If they are wearing larger gold pieces, they're not of the high carat type. So oftentimes it'll be a base metal or a lower carat grade with maybe a good plating on top of that. Recently, I was at the New York Historical Society, the Museum of Natural History, and they had the hip hop jewelry exhibition. And I was there, and it was a small exhibition, but it was filled with people. And there you could see gold being utilized in larger pieces. Again, these are people that are at the forefront of being in front of entertainment. And they utilize gold in different ways too. Things that I not necessarily would be working in, but gold in teeth and things like this that grab people's attention. So that's what I can see on the East Coast here. But and as far as gemstones go, because of the economies and the gold price being over $2,500 an ounce, I'm seeing a little bit less gold and a little bit more gemstone. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's where the balance is coming in.
Okay, great. Thank you. And let's ask.
There's a question on design, like, as American entrepreneurs in the industry, are we looking at India as a destination to manufacture your designs, or is the vision yours?
Yeah.
Designs originates in India.
Yes, because the realities of being a solo American jewelry artist who is delivering jewelry, economically, as one individual woman trying to do this, I'm not generating huge amounts of revenue. In order to scale, I must relinquish some of what I do to other people. So when you do that, you want to find the best talent. So that's my goal, is to get the best talent in production. And I witnessed this in Mumbai in the skeet, when I saw all of the floors and I saw what India was doing. It was very impressive. And I love the fact that you were bringing in people to do your work who could not hear and speak. That was completely amazing to me, because when you have your sensibilities reduced, your focus on the design is amplified and increased even more. And I'm very committed to the Gem and Jewelry Export Promotion Council because of how they accepted me, how they treated me. And I would like to share with you all of the connections that I have in my domain with the Armenian Jewelers Association and the Jewelry Design Professional Network, because I think that's very important, because over time you'll gain the relationships. Had I not attended these, I wouldn't have met the 54 representatives at the Gem and Jewelry Export Promotion Council trip in Jaipur, which I then am trying to nurture in New York. And again, this takes time. This is just my first trip. So I hope to I don't know if I can, but I will do my best as an individual to try and increase your numbers from 50 to even more in the coming shows. And there's also the dynamic of buying in the United States. And I know that Dallas and Jill can speak more about this, is that there are cycles. So right now it's the summertime, but we're preparing for the Christmas and holiday seasons. And then after those seasons are over, then there's a little bit of time. So April is a very good time for some of the people here to come to India. And then we encourage you, when you come from India here, we would love to collaborate and have, introductory social events so that you can meet some of the people here as well.
Yeah, Annie is on the executive part of the executive team of the New York chapter of the Armenian Jewelers Association, correct? Which
Yes,
has
East
about
Coast.
Yeah, for the East Coast, there's a West Coast,
which is an entity that was, excuse my dog, forgive me, I apologize. It's an entity that it started in this area and the members are voted in. There are other chapters which are, out of Armenia and other places, but this is the one that's been here on the East Coast.
And there are like 300 members there, and there's some of their big manufacturers in there. Remember, your president said that manufacturer for some of the top, for Graf and Van Cleef.
Yes.
And so they're big manufacturers in that group, and we're working on bringing, all of them in groups to India as well too. And let's ask Jill about the Midwest styles in the Midwest. So we got the whole country covered.
I'll be honest, trends in the Midwest, we tend to love the stuff going on the East Coast and the West Coast. It just takes a couple to make it to us in the Midwest here. Very much classic pieces is what trends consistently year after year here in the Midwest. And that's your classic diamond pieces. And I would say blue sapphires and rubies are going to be your top colored stones, although pink sapphires are really making an impact in the Midwest here as well in your jewelry. The one thing that I do have to say about the Midwest is it is very largely an untapped market as far as working with Indian manufacturers and designers. I am probably the first person within a 5-state radius that has made this trip to India. And every time I go, I come back and I could try to convince more and more people to come. And in which case, I think this spring, I finally have convinced somebody. But I also contract out and I do appraisals for a lot of different stores within, a 4 to 5 hour radius from where I live too. And so some of those stores just aren't staffed to be able to send their employees to a show such as this and have them be gone for that amount of time. So I am also the liaison for them, that I look for things that they could be looking for. And then I put them in contact with some of the people. In fact, I've put one of the stores that I used to work for and that I do appraisals for, I put them in contact with a few gemstone dealers that I met last spring in Jaipur. They were looking for some larger, more expensive gemstones. So I put them in contact with them. So it is very much the Midwest an untapped market. And I think there's a lot of opportunity trend-wise, because everybody in the Midwest is looking for something that sets them apart. And everybody carries the diamond tennis bracelets, the diamond studs, engagement rings. And here in the Midwest, we're reaching out for people that have sterling silver pieces, just because gold is so expensive right now. And lab grown diamonds are huge in the Midwest right now. I don't know many people. In fact, the last 6 or 7 clients that I've had don't have natural diamonds in their engagement rings. They have lab grown diamonds in the center of their engagement rings. So that is kind of what's happening here in the Midwest, is lab grown diamonds, sterling silver, and always constantly looking for the thing that sets you apart from everyone else.
Great.
I think there's a question related to this, which someone is asking in the American, as far as the jewelry trends goes. Are they moving towards smaller contemporary designs or larger and more intricate ones?
Anybody would like to jump in? I mean, I can say as a general thing, general trend, that especially you have the different age groups of buyers. And if everybody is very interested in the new people coming up that are like in their 20s and 30s, the millennials and now Gen Z, who are about in their 20s, because they are the future. And I have noticed amongst them that there's a real kind of minimalist trend. Okay. They like more delicate jewelry, kind of simple designs, not really elaborate, often like asymmetrical jewelry with not like just one big gem in the middle or diamond in the middle, but off to the side as well. And the layering. So they're smaller pieces, but then they'll wear several pieces together, several rings layered, or several necklaces, or several earrings, all together, layers of earrings, all on one ear. And of course, bracelets stacked as well. And anybody else want to add something for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm seeing there's an interest in spiritual and symbolic aspects of certain designs. Now, I am an American jewelry designer, but my ancestry is Armenian. And so Dallas, I understand the cross, that perspective is great. But I do see people respectfully imbuing it with other symbolic aspects. And there's an appreciation for the story and heritage behind the pieces, and modern interpretations of Indian designs. And that appeal to those looking for a fusion of design. So that's what I see on my end.
I'll say a couple of things too about there's always a layering effect in the jewelry industry, because I'm designing for television, but the other side of my business is one-of-a-kinds for retail stores that just bring in 2 or 3 pieces because they know their customers so well, the collectors that want those exotic stones. And all of my one-of-a-kinds are exotic stones. So, you know, there's a unusual juxtaposition of my business being television over here, which I'm looking for price points and a mid-range, and then I have a high-end clientele here. So it's still a part of what I do in India. Now, the one-of-a-kinds are all produced here in Los Angeles, but the stones come from India.
Okay, great.
So the last couple of questions, we can take is for silver jewelry. How do you see market for luxury silver jewelry in USA? And what are the best practices in finishing silver gemstone jewelry for the US market?
Say the second one again. Say the second part of the question.
They want to know the best practices in finishing silver gemstone jewelry for US markets.
Okay, let me say something and then other people can jump in as well. Yes, silver is very popular. You have these brands like Pandora and the jewelry from Bali and all that. And so that's very popular. I think people often like to have it finished in rhodium, rhodium plated, so it's shinier and it doesn't tarnish. And also, I think very popular in the US, especially with the price of gold going up, is the vermeil jewelry. I think that's always been, I found as a designer myself, that's always been very popular. So because then it's like it's gold layered over silver. And it can be different colors of gold, rose gold or white gold or yellow gold. But then people know it. Well, it's all precious metals, but it looks like, it looks like gold, but it's gold and silver. So anybody else want to add anything to that? But it's silver jewelry, yes, is very, very popular in the US.
I would say that the one thing you can do with your silver jewelry, and Ani and Jill know this, that you can make jewelry in silver feel like gold. Add a little heft to it, add beading to it, add textures to it, so that when they pick it up, they're not feeling a difference between the metal itself. And it doesn't have to be a larger gauge or something that's been Dallasized like I do sometimes, but it can be a delicate piece, but still have that heft. Don't cove it out. Leave the silver in the bottom of the shank. Do whatever you have to do so that the customer, when they pick it up, they feel the value of it as much as they see the look of it.
Great. Anybody else? Anybody else want to add something?
I was just going to say that if you choose to plate the silver in gold, make sure that I don't know if you can do coatings to make sure that that wearability doesn't wear down, because the average consumer doesn't have the capacity to do replating. So from a technical aspect point, if there are ways for you to make those platings better, that would definitely attract designers. Yeah.
I actually use vermeil, which is 2.5 microns, which actually gives you gold. It's longer lasting. Truly is. But with gold where it is, then you're adding to the cost again by having the vermeil on there. But there are layering techniques now that are just coming into play for how we do pen plating, little details and things like that. So I think maybe that might be a route to take to still show different colors in the design itself, I think.
And rhodium plating, I think, is very popular in the US. People really like it because it's very bright and shiny, and it stays that way, and you don't have to polish it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah, so we take this last question, which has come from a gentleman called Mihir Mehta. How big is an impact on sustainability, right? Recycled gold sustainably grown diamonds and a jewelry that has a positive impact on the nature scene. And
yes, I'll say that's a very, very strong trend, especially amongst younger people, more aware people, and also for the high-end jewelry. Jewelry that is maybe over $5,000 a piece retail price. Customers in that range are very interested in that the jewelry is ethically sourced, that it's responsibly sourced, and that and verified through an organization such as the Responsible Jewelry Council. Anybody else want to add anything to that?
I was just going to say, certifications of transparency, they're very important. Ethical jewelry retailers they're prioritizing the transparency in their supply chains, and they're trying to get certifications. So I don't know if that can be done in the processes that you have. But I know that, on our end, people want to see that.
Yes, I know a lot of the teams of buyers that we're bringing to India. That's often a question that comes up. Is the jewelry responsibly sourced? And it's not always asked in jewelry stores, especially if it's like a mid-range or something that may not be as important. But for the higher end, and especially among younger customers, it is very, very important. Anybody else want to add anything to that question? Okay, so okay, we'll
I think we have taken most of the questions from the audience.
Okay.
Someone wants to know whether something about the opportunities that we can interact. So we take this opportunity to let them know there is an upcoming event end of September, 30th September and 1st of October, where we have a big delegation from USA, coming to see this BSM. It is for product categories, which is diamond studded jewelry and gemstone studded jewelry. Thank you so much, panelists. You were wonderful, and this is a great opportunity for our manufacturers to interact with you all to see what they can bring up with in terms of showcasing their products. And this is going to be held in the manufacturing zone. This is in the SEEPS area, which is the hub for all the export related and where most of the factories are also there. So it's a good opportunity. We invite all who have attended today also to take this opportunity and be part of this platform. And this is not just one-off show. It is going to be an ongoing activity. We will be engaging with buyers from USA now in Jaipur. So this is something that you all need to be connected throughout, so that you can maximize your potential exports to the region. Thank you so much. I'll leave it to Rashmi.
So,
and on behalf of all the participants from the US, we thank you very much for inviting us to participate, and we're very pleased to do it and look forward to doing more in the future. And we welcome the collaboration between the US and India. It is really a win-win situation, and we're doing our best to really promote that and make stronger the connections, because there's great potential for success both from the side of US and from India as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Speakers.
Thank you.
We are, on behalf of GJEPC, we would really like to deeply thank to all the speakers and for putting your efforts, time, sharing your inputs, perspectives, and the most important is sharing your deep insights and giving answers to almost all the queries. Really, hats off to you, and a big thank you from the GJEPC side. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you
you
very
all.
much. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.